Hi, Chad. Just gathering. It'll take a few minutes.
Hi.
Hi, Joel.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad. How about you?
Much better once I pushed join meeting. I've been sitting here looking at myself for 10 minutes. I'm not, I don't do this every day, and I know that you all do. So.
We do it every day, a lot.
I know, I'm painfully aware, but at a safe personal distance. Yeah, I wish it were different. I wish. So, intern, how is everybody while we wait for Lisa and Peggy? We may be waiting a little while for Peg because she dropped me a line that she may not be able to join us until maybe 3:30, but she'll be with us.
So we need Zach and Lisa to have a quorum. We do have one guest, a Mark, I don't know, I'm sorry, Schaber? I'm not sure, Mark, you're on mute, but you can unmute if you choose.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I actually have video. Mark Schauber.
Good. Who are you? We'll introduce ourselves, but
I'm from Wyndham Central. I belong to the River Valley School Board.
Oh, good. All right, good. Well, let's see. I'm wondering if we should go around and yes, and those who join us will know everybody except you, Mark. So let's go ahead. Chad, by the way, hello.
How you doing, Joel?
Good, good. I guess we do know, everybody knows each other except for Mark and Chad. So I'll start. I'm Joel Cook, although the box, am I identified to you guys as Christine Cook?
You are.
Well, you can guess who the better portion of this relationship is by. I'm Joel Cook. I'm the current chair of this board. I've been on it forever with a couple of years off for good or bad behavior. And I yield to whoever would like to go next. One from the board, I guess. There are not many of us, Tracy, so why don't you?
I'm Tracy Rend. I am the vice chair and also have been on for many years with no break for good or bad behavior.
It's reassuring that I was listened to, that I'm not muted here. So actually, we're the only two board members here. So why don't we just keep going around so that Mark has a clue to what's going on here, and we'll say hello to Sue as she identifies herself. But that's what we're doing, Sue. So Laura, why don't you go?
So I'm Laura Soares. I'm one of the trust managers of VEHI, and I work for the Vermont School Board's Insurance Trust, VSBIT.
And I don't know how you guys appear in your screen, but Bobby Joe, you're next in my tic-tac-toe. Okay.
Hi, Mark. I'm Bobby Jo Sauls. I'm a trust administrator for VEHI as well, and I work at the VSBIT office.
And well, Jonathan, why don't you go?
Sure, thanks. I'm John Steiner. I also work for VSBIT and will be replacing Laura when she retires.
Which will occur at the end of December.
Correct.
Which she may be more fully aware of than the rest of us. Chad?
I am Chad Hewitt. I'm the auditor of VEHI. My office is down here in Montpelier. So.
And you'll have the floor in about 20 minutes or so.
Sure, that's fine.
Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Hage. I'm also a VEHI Trust Manager, and I work for the Vermont National Education Association.
And Sue, and then Mark Schauber do it again because Sue wasn't here. Sue?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sue Siglowski, Executive Director of the Vermont School Boards Association. Sorry, I was 1 minute late. I wasn't sure if I had the right Zoom link, but
you're not late. You're not late until we have a quorum, and we don't have a quorum, so we are expecting it. Mark, would you restate who you are, please, for us?
Sure. Well, I'm from the River Valley School Board, and I'm going to be a representative from the Wyndham Central Board as well. And I know Sue is, I'm also on the VSBA board.
Right. That makes sense. Good. Not quite sure what to say.
Oh, there's Zach.
No, there's one.
And Chris Roberts is on, Joel. She doesn't do video, but she's the phone and the block, so
right.
she can see us and then we can hear and converse with her.
Okay. And again, primarily for Mark Schauber, Chris Roberts is does our financial accounting for us, and I guess is partially assigned to us from her duties at VSBIT as well. And Zach, you're on. So who are you?
I'm Zach McLaughlin, Superintendent of Schools in Springfield.
And a member of this board. Our bylaws require a quorum of 4, at least 2 of whom shall be from appointees of the school boards and 2 appointees from Vermont NEA. And right now it's Chrissy and Zach and me. And we're waiting, I presume, Lisa. Now, Lisa Grout, who indicated that she'd be on time. That said, she's from the Northeast Kingdom and she's had problems with
It says she can't seem to sign in. Can someone send her the link?
I can't seem to sign in. Can someone send me the link? Laura, can you do that?
I think you're muted, Laura.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I just sent it in the email. I will send it again.
Okay. I'll let her know anyway. There's the link sitting at the bottom of her note.
There are 2 people participating by phone, and one is Chris Roberts. Could the second person unmute and say hello to us and identify yourself?
Hi, it's Elizabeth Fitzgerald is participating.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, how you doing?
Mark, do you know Elizabeth? Elizabeth's one of your counterparts around the state. She serves on the South. You're still on the South Burlington School Board, right?
I am, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to be in listen mode because I'm driving here.
So I resent the link. I had to change my position. Sorry that I didn't change
Okay.
my camera there.
Okay. Sorry about this. Let me see. There we are. All right. We're all set. Well, talk among yourselves. What is that line from?
Saturday Night Live.
And the live
Yeah,
skit,
an early Saturday Night Live skit.
coffee talk.
So,
Right. There you go. Thank you all.
I see Lisa on there.
There we are. Lisa, are you there? You probably have to unmute yourself on the lower left. From your car. Uh-oh.
Still there. There's no video. Yep.
Yeah. Lisa, can you hear us? Not yet. We're getting closer. I'll try that again. Lisa, can you hear me? I take that as a no. Okay.
Whenever it's going through the car audio.
Hmm. And I'm sorry, was there a suggestion there?
I said, I wonder if it's going through a car audio or something. It's because
Oh,
if you look at the participants, it's not showing a microphone. It's just showing video.
I see.
Video on, no sound.
Well, so oh, that's her video. Okay.
I
Not
love
sure.
this Zoom world we live in.
Yeah, obviously I don't know what to do, but I'm looking at two phone numbers, and Elizabeth, is the 231? I mean, is the 310 number yours?
The 802-310 is mine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Okay.
Okay. All right, I'll be muted.
The
'Cause
the
I'm
other one
driving.
is Chris Roberts.
And the other one is Chris. You're the 760. Okay.
Yes,
Peggy
I
just
am.
got on.
Okay, oh, good. Yep. Lisa's connecting to audio.
Okay.
Yeah, and Peggy's on, so.
Peggy's on, she's muted.
Peggy.
Everyone, apologies, but I'm
Yeah,
here.
don't
Yeah, we
apologize.
need you.
Don't apologize. We'd owe you one if you got on, if you rushed to get on.
Lisa, can you hear us? You're muted.
Lisa, can you hear me? Okay.
You need to unmute.
Is the, for me, it's the lower left that you need to push the mute or unmute button.
Well, one of them is unmuted now.
Yeah.
She's on twice and one's unmuted, but
Oh, right. Look at that.
one has no sound and one's unmuted.
Oh, well. We can't.
So we have a quorum, Joel, even though Lisa's, even without counting Lisa, we might want to get started given our time frame.
If she can hear us, she can vote with a
Right.
thumbs up or something.
Okay. Okay, Lisa. Well, we'll appreciate all of your contributions as we can go. Okay. Welcome. Peggy, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Peggy Maxfield. I teach math at Brattleboro Area Middle School.
Great. And I'd ask Lisa to introduce herself, but I'll do it for her. Lisa Grout is a new member of the board and is a longtime teacher, now retired from Newport, North Country High School, I think. And here we go. Okay. As Laura intimates, we have an agenda to follow and we have a limited amount of time in which to complete it. And I think we should be, forgive the language, hell-bent on getting through it so that we can begin the annual meeting on time without adjourning this one too quickly. Okay, so let's see how we can go through this. So I guess there's a call to order, Laura, and whatever, it's 3:14. Are there any comments about the agenda itself? Hearing none, we'll move on and consider it adopted. Are there any of you from the general public intending to make comments during this meeting? If so, just let me know. We can recognize you during that portion of the meeting, but it would be helpful to know that. Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of August 18th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our August 18th meeting? Laura, you look like you want to say something.
So I saw Zach's hand. We did find a typo within a dollar amount that was just a typo
Oh.
on how much we got back from
Right.
Blue Cross that we should correct. Bobby Joe, do you have that number in front of you? I think it was Chris that actually found it, of course, our number guru.
Yeah, it was in there as $612,162, and it should have been $618,162. So it was off by $6,000.
You're all fired except Chris. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay, with that amendment,
I saw Zach's hand go up to make the motion. Is there a second? Tracy, with that correction?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We've approved the minutes. All right, we'll move on to a review and acceptance of the financial statements as of the end of the fiscal year. Chris, I think I'm supposed to yield to you, so I do.
Okay. So in your packet,
and remember, we're racing. We're not racing, but we're moving through this expeditiously.
Yeah.
Except when my
in
phone.
your packet.
And Chris, before you start, just to be aware, this actually helps inform the health and dental rating discussion.
Good.
So it's a part of the whole meat of the agenda.
Okay, Chris, you're on.
So in your packet, you have a memo with the financials as of June 30th, and then you'll find your income statements, which is labeled as the combining statement of revenue, expenses, change in net position. You have your balance sheet, which is the combined statement of net position, and you have a budget to actual. So overall for FY20, we had a gain of $2.8 million. $2 million of this was from the health program, and $860,000 of this was from the dental program. So just to give some context of how that meshes up to where we thought we'd be, when we set the when we set the dental rate, we wanted to use $857,000 of our reserves to cover our program costs, because we feel like we have extra money in the dental program. We were on track to do that. However, when COVID hit, non-emergent services, non-emergency services were suspended at dental offices. People closed down. Then we had some favorable market experience of almost $350,000. So we ended up closing the year in a favorable position, leaving our net position at $8.3 million. So the board did approve a premium relief for the month of July, which obviously is in FY21 numbers, but we did approve no premium for July, which is about $635,000, and that's an effort to offset that gain that we were not expecting. We went from wanting to lose $860 to basically gaining $860 due to COVID. So that's the dental program. With the health program, again, COVID ended up being a positive trigger to our bottom line. When we set the health rates, we were expecting to achieve a break-even year. When those projections were updated in the fall of 2019, when we set the FY21 rates, we then expected a $4.1 million loss because of negative claims development. So what ended up happening was when COVID-19 hit, we had a lot of deferred services, deferred elective services, and a population with very few COVID patients in it. So we ended up with a net investment gain of $1.2 million. So overall, the health program generated a gain of $9.4 million for FY20. Now, it's important to understand how the run out plays into this, because earlier I just said that we actually saw a gain of $2 million on the health program. So how do you get from the 9.4 to the 2 million? That was negative claims run out for the FY19 year. So in FY19, we set what we thought was going to be our run out for claims for reserves, and then we exceeded that in the tune of $7.4 million. So we would have been looking at a much larger loss had COVID not hit. So that brought us to the 2 million. But what we have to be aware of is that a lot of those elective surgeries and a lot of those elective services were just deferred. And we're now seeing them crop up in the first quarter of FY21. So we need to realize that even though we ended FY20 with a gain of $2 million, that was affected by these factors, and those claims are coming back and are being paid right now, and I'm seeing that in the early results of FY21 numbers. Any questions? That's really the meat of your bottom line of your financials. Yes, Zach.
So the Chris, is it the 7 million that was on the tail of FY19? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, and I know it's hard. This is pre-settlement and all that kind of good stuff. But I mean, is that something that we should anticipate as we return to a normal at some point? That based on where we're at in the structure of plans, that would be something that would be typical, or was that too hard to predict?
So the IBNR, you know, every year at year end, the actuaries work with us to set an IBNR number of what we think the claims that are out there still to be paid are. And, you know, usually we're fairly close. You may be, you know, a couple of million one way or the other. It's hard to predict exact, you know, numbers here when you're talking such a large plan. You know, even 1% is a lot of money. However, what happened with the FY19 run out is that we had just moved into our new plans. There was not a lot of data. We did not know, you know, there were assumptions made about consumer spending that didn't end up happening, partly because of the, you know, the amount of funding that went to people's HRAs and HSAs. So, you know, that year was a very difficult year to project for the actuaries. The actuaries feel like that now we have a little bit more history and they're getting better at those projections. And honestly, when I look at the numbers early on, when we were running out and early on a year ago for FY19, I was already starting to feel like it was going south a little bit. We were having additional claims. I'm not feeling that way in what I'm seeing now. I honestly feel like the FY20 run out that was reserved for is appropriate, and I don't project or see that we're going to have another large hit unless there's something really weird going on out there. But most of those claims come through in July and August. So, you know, at this point, I have a pretty good feel for that. So I'm feeling really quite good about what the actuaries built into our FY20 numbers.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay, anything else on those? Okay, and then quickly, just to finish up the financials, you know, our assets, when you go over to our balance sheet, assets, 57 million is cash and investments. That's the majority of our assets. We have $1.2 million in member contributions that were due at the end of the year, and a 4.6 million working fund deposit at Blue Cross so that they can pay our claims checks out. It's estimated about 1 week's worth of claims. On the liability side, we mostly have claims-related liabilities in the amount of 17.3 million. We have 1.1 in accounts payable and about 560,000 in prepaid member contributions. So those are people who paid us in June for July premiums. So that shows as a liability. We ended the year under budget on our operating expenses of $95,000 and $50,000 on wellness expenses. And the only other thing I wanted to mention on the expense budget is that each year VSBIT's budget is trued up. So in the FY20 numbers, you see a return of $1,215 from VSBIT. That was the return for FY19 under spending. So we always see that because VEHI closes its books before VSBIT does. So we do not know that number when VEHI closes its books. However, since we're just going over the financials now and it's October, the VSBIT audit is in its final stages of completion. So I do know that the FY20 number for being returned to VEHI from VSBIT is just over $55,000 for FY20. So that money will be shown as a prior period adjustment in your FY21 financials. That's my quick summary of the year-end financials. Any questions?
Joel, you're muted if you're speaking.
I actually didn't say anything that I wouldn't have wanted you all to hear. Thank you, Chris. That was very helpful, and we can now move on to yet another aspect of our finances and recognize Chad after Laura.
Could we have the board accept the financials as the agenda
Oh,
show?
all right, okay. I wasn't aware that was a necessary thing to do. Is there a motion to accept the financials as reported by Chris Roberts?
So moved.
Second, Peg?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? Thank you again, Chris. Okay. We've invited Chad Hewitt, who is our auditor, to give us some, I guess, just an update about the audit report for the last year. And Chad, you know the drill. We have 15 minutes allocated, and I'll yield to you immediately and hope that there are some questions, because although I don't know that auditors really love to hear questions after their report, we'll see how this goes.
That's fine. And
good. Thanks.
well, first thing is Chris just stole all my thunder. So
okay, we'll move on then. Thank you very much.
I don't know what we're going to talk about here for 15 minutes because she said it all. So
we don't need to occupy all 15 minutes.
No.
That's all right.
I'm gonna hit some. I'll even hit some highlights that maybe.
All right.
Chris
Great.
didn't hit on. So basically, VEHI. Just to give you a little background about myself, our company has been auditing VSBIT and VEHI for many years. I had never seen you folks because we kind of just did a partner rotation this year where I've seen many of the VSBIT board members over the last 3 or 4 years, and then we switched out some partners this year. So I was in charge of the VEHI board, VEHI audit, and my business partner Rick was in charge of VSBIT. So, but both of us have always been integral in doing both aspects of the audit. So, as Chris mentioned, I mean the numbers. She nailed the numbers. I mean, we had absolutely no audit adjustments whatsoever for the audit. So what she reported to you was dead on. Was dead on for the audit. And I believe the audit report has been sent out to you folks. And I guess I just want to hit on a couple of things here. Pages 1 and 2 of the audit, and that is basically called our audit opinion. These 2 pages, it's the only thing that's mine. This is my letter, my firm letter saying to you as the board members, hey, we did this for an audit. VEHI is getting a clean audit opinion, which is basically mean no qualifications at all. And again, this is the only thing that's mine. Everything else that's the remaining pages are the VEHI's financial statements. That with all the numbers derived by Chris and approved by Laura and everyone. So I just want to basically just emphasize that everything is VEHI's except for pages 1 and 2. Pages 3 through 7 is pretty much what Chris just regurgitated. This is what's called the management's discussion and analysis, and it is truly a layman's terms. In layman's terms, how did the audit go? It's 4 pages of the nuts and bolts of the VEHI audit, basically disclosing the facts of the audit. So in essence, if you guys were to read pages 3 through 7, you know how well the year went for VEHI. You don't have to read the other 26 or 25 pages that's in the audit report. It's a comparison management discussion. It talks about this year and last year, and but all the numbers come right from the audit report. So I'm not going to really go over. Well, I will. I mean, pages 8 and 9 are basically, as Chris described, are basically the balance sheet and profit and loss statement, otherwise known as the income statement or a statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in that position. Chris nailed the numbers just as she said. The one thing I guess I want to follow back up on a question that Zach asked, and again, the way I interpret it is is that he asked, are we going to have the same problem in 2020 as 2019? And if you look at page 8, and Chris referred to the IBNR, the incurred but not reported, or otherwise known as the claims that just hadn't been paid yet. The liability from 2019 to 2020, it grew by $5 million. So basically the actuary had that one extra year of data. And so obviously, for lack of better words, they blew the 2019 run out. So the 2020 run out should be much closer than the past. So you won't have a big aberration. You shouldn't have a big aberration for the 2020 year. So